This week on Nikon's Birding Adventures TV, we're in San Diego County in Southern California. More species of birds have been recorded here than in any other county in North America. Close to 500 species. On this week's episode, we're going to go in search of some of the Southern California specialty birds, and our golden bird for this episode is the California gnatcatcher.
Birding? All right!
San Diego County is arguably the best birding county in the United States when it comes to diversity. From 70 miles of oceanfront beaches to canyons, mountains, estuaries, deserts and forest, San Diego is a true birder's paradise. The annual San Diego Bird Festival is a wonderful way to explore the county's rich wildlife, with daily tours to all the distinct habitats. The mountain trips offer great species like Steller's jay, Nuttall's woodpecker, band-tailed pigeon, mountain chickadees with their distinct white eye stripes, phainopepla, western bluebirds, and the tiny pygmy nuthatch. The estuaries and coastal areas are also home to some highly sought-after birds. And for those adventurous birders that have their sea legs, there's always the pelagic trips, which offer great species like albatross, cormorants, and other pelagic birds.
Behind me is the San Elijo Lagoon, and it's high tide right now, which is excellent news for Nelson's sharp-tailed sparrows. Let's see if we can get a look.
This Nelson sparrow, there's one, possibly two at this location this year. I don't know if they've been detected throughout the rest of the county this year, so it's pretty special to have these at this lagoon this year. Nice high tides, as I was mentioning earlier, will push a lot of these marsh birds up to the edges, and we had good fortune today.
Foraging in the rack line over here, just above the high tide mark at Seaside in northern San Diego, is an unusual race of the savanna sparrow called the Belding savanna sparrow. And these guys are just running along the seaweed here that's washed up and catching all the little insects in the rack line. There's a wonderful group of about 40 western snowy plovers. And snowy plovers, like the piping plover, is a bird that is threatened in North America. This western race is actually resident here, and although they haven't bred on this particular beach at Seaside for many years due to human disturbance, they are still here in very good numbers.
This Birding Adventures episode is powered by Nikon, the world leader in optics since 1917, and sponsored in part by the Commission for Arts and Culture, City of San Diego.
Well, after a rainy morning here in the sage scrub, the sun has finally come out, and we're looking for some of these specialty birds of the San Diego area. They're quite easy to remember because many of them have the word California in front of their names. So there's California thrasher, California towhee, California gnatcatcher, California quail, all found right here in the sage scrub. We've had pretty much no rain in San Diego for like a year, right? I mean, there's been, how much rain has been here the whole year? Probably like an inch?
I don't know the exact number, but probably about that. It's terrible. So having rain right now is a blessing, but unfortunate for, you know, the bird festival. Right. But we got to power through it.
Right. Got this beautiful melodic call of a California thrasher sitting on top of the sage bush over here. Nice curved bill, nice white throat. And you can see that little white throat puff out as he makes that melodic call, marking his territory here and trying to attract females. Stunning bird, a California thrasher. And Another one of the special birds that a lot of the birders around San Diego like to call the Californias is the California towhee. And there's one just perched up nicely on this bush over here. He's preening in a nice afternoon light.
Look, James, it's a black philly.
There's a northern harrier just flown down from this perch. It actually looks as though it's hunting something in this bush down at the bottom. You can actually see him looking down, trying to grab something out of that bush. Northern harrier. We've got a female Anna's hummingbird right on the nest here. And if you look at that nest, you'll see how carefully designed it is. The parents will use spider web, and they'll actually camouflage it with little bits of lichen and little bits of plant material, so that from the outside, that nest is going to be very, very camouflaged. She looks as though she's sitting on eggs right now, which hopefully will hatch in the next few days. That's amazing. This Anna's hummingbird has flown off the nest. We've just been watching her hawking insects, and we thought she was on eggs. She's actually got little babies here, and she's just caught some insects, and she's feeding them right now. Oh, that is spectacular. You can see the little baby's head. She's feeding away. Wow, absolutely gorgeous.
As well as nesting female Anna's hummingbirds, male Anna's hummingbirds are in full display during this time of the year, with their unbelievable pink gorgettes. Not to be outdone, the stunning male Allen's hummingbirds are strutting their stuff too. This Birding Adventures episode is powered by Nikon, the world leader in optics since 1917, and sponsored in part by the San Diego Audubon Society, and by Hobie Mirage Drive Kayaks. Enjoy nature effortlessly.
We're about to head out to La Jolla shores to go look for sea lions and also some harbor seals and some great birds. I'm here with Ron Lane from Fast Lane. He's going to loan us some Hobie kayaks, and we're going to go do some kayaking. So we've got some seriously big surf here today. They forecast for about 12 to 14 foot waves for the whole day today, so it's going to be pretty big. But right here at the launch site, looks like we can get out into the ocean. We're then going to go around La Jolla Point and go and look at some awesome marine life. Let's go birding. One of the highlights of a visit to San Diego is undoubtedly the harbor seals. And if you're here in February, you might be lucky enough to see them actually giving birth here at a place called the Cove in La Jolla. These little baby harbor seals around me, some of them were born yesterday, some of them possibly even born this morning. And what's quite incredible is that these little babies, within an hour of being born, can dive and swim in these really, really rough waves outside of the cove and the birthing area here. They feed on the rich, fatty milk of the mothers for up to 3 to 4 weeks, and then they're weaned, and during that time, they'll double their body size before they're able to head out and venture off on their own. Fantastic animals of the San Diego coastline, the harbor seal. A couple of 100 yards from the harbor seal colony is a great colony of California sea lions, one of the 5 species of sea lions worldwide. You can see the dominant males behind me over here making their call, announcing their territory, and this is actually very similar to a neck system with birds, where the males will announce their presence and the females will then move through the territory and choose a male to mate with.
Looking at those harbor seals and those California sea lions was amazing. I'm now going to head down underneath the surface of the water in these kelp forests to see what the marine life is like down under. You know, these Hobie kayaks are an absolute dream for wildlife watching. Because of the Mirage Drive over here, you have your hands free, so you can use your binoculars to scope out wildlife, and it's just such a sleek and stable operation on these Hobie kayaks. The best way to enjoy nature on the water. Oh, spectacular. Watching all that wildlife on top of the water, the sea lions, the harbor seals, and then being able to go down under the water and view those beautiful bright orange Garibaldi fish, and then also those 7-gill sharks. San Diego marine life, nothing beats it.
San Diego County has an incredible diversity of gulls, and here we are at Oceanside Beach in northern San Diego County at a gull roost, and there's a fantastic number of species here. We've got western gull, we've got California gull, we've got Heermann's gull, we've got ring-billed gull, and we've even got an unusual solitary glaucous gull sitting right in the middle here. You can readily identify that glaucous gull by its pale coloration, and it's a massive bird, really, really big amongst these smaller gulls here at this gull roost. And we've got a herring gull here as well, and just flown in on the edge is a Bonaparte's gull as well. And surrounded by the gulls, we've had royal tern, we've had Forster's tern, there's also an elegant tern here. Fantastic diversity of gulls and terns here in northern San Diego County. We've just made our way further up the coast from Oceanside to Camp Pendleton here to look for more gulls, and this is a very good spot for mew gull, which is a tiny gull, very small gull with a nice yellow bill. And we've got one right here on the beach in this little flock of gulls here. Now just sitting down in the sand.
This Birding Adventures episode is powered by Nikon, the world leader in optics since 1917, and sponsored in part by the Coastal Conservancy.
This Birding from the Edge segment is brought to you by Nikon, manufacturers of the Edge line of optics.
The San Diego Natural History Museum has one of the best collection of bird skins in all of North America. We caught up with Phil Unit, who gave us a detailed demonstration on how to skin a Merlin falcon. This is Birding from the Edge.
Before we head out to look for California gnatcatchers, I've stopped in to meet with Phil Unit of the San Diego Natural History Museum, and he's going to show us his whole selection here of California gnatcatcher skins. Can you tell me the difference between male and female, Phil?
Yes, here we have a male in breeding plumage with its black cap, and here we have a female gray cap, and if you can see very carefully, the female has a brown back, whereas the male has a pure gray one. In the winter, the males lose their black cap and become more similar to the females. And right now, in early March, they're in the process of growing in that black cap for the summer.
Great, so when we go out into the field, we're going to be looking for a singing male
possibly at the top of a bush with that nice mewing cat-like call, and we're hopefully going to get a nice black cap on these California gnatcatchers. That's great. Thanks so much for showing us everything, Phil.
My
Really
pleasure.
appreciate it. Let's go out and find some California gnatcatchers in the field. This morning, we're at a little patch of coastal sage scrub in the San Elijo Lagoon, just north of San Diego. I'm here with Jimmy McMorrin, and this coastal sage scrub is very endangered habitat, and there are these little pockets all around San Diego, and it's in these pockets of scrub that you'll find the California gnatcatcher. Today we've got this light drizzle coming down, which is excellent news for this area because it's actually been in a bit of a drought for the last year. So a little bit of rain, and hopefully with a little bit of luck we'll get onto these gnatcatchers.
We can walk down the trail if we would like and just sit there, and likely they're going to start vocalizing. I just heard one definitively call a few times.
The California gnatcatcher, with its limited range and specific habitat requirements, is a high conservation priority. Extensive development has fragmented the bird's habitat in California, leading it to be declared a threatened species in 1993. Although this tiny bird might not look like much, it certainly can pack a punch on the noses of greedy developers. So much so that several lawsuits against developers building on gnatcatcher habitat have been won by advocates of this wonderful Southern California species. One of the things that separates the California gnatcatcher from its cousin, the black-tailed gnatcatcher, is the call. And you can hear it sounds almost like a plaintive meowing of a little kitten. Let's see if we can lure one in here. Oh, look at that. Here he is, right up top, up top. It's so amazing to see California gnatcatchers still thriving in these little pockets of sage scrub close to San Diego. Up to 90% of the sage scrublands of Southern California have been destroyed and developed. So it's very, very amazing to see this bird still clinging on in these little patches close to the city. Further south of here, the two subspecies of California gnatcatcher still thrive in Baja California. This coastal subspecies of California gnatcatcher found close to San Diego is almost like the canary in the coal mine of the sage scrubland of this area. And it's very, very important that we protect this sage scrubland for generations to come, because it is one of the most threatened habitats in all of North America. If you ever needed proof as to the real and ever-present danger of extinction of a bird like the California gnatcatcher in North America, it's right here at the Museum of Natural History in San Diego. In my hand here is an ivory-billed woodpecker, and of course, over here in this drawer are Carolina parakeets, birds which were once very common in North America, and today they're gone forever. So it's really important that we preserve the last remaining habitat of California gnatcatchers in Southern California.